What is up? What is up, guys? What about that? Was that y'all like that cool little intro? That is shout out to Allie Top Files. She put that together for me, and I really like it. I thought maybe y'all would like that too. Got a couple different ones. I may play around with them a little bit, see which ones we like the best. But yeah, I really did like it. Like I said, thank you very much, Miss Allie, for that. That's some good work. All right, so finally back. So who all enjoyed that? Who all enjoyed the Allie stream we had the other night? That was a ball. Her and Chris, they are two really cool individuals, and talk about smart and man, they can research. If you ever need to know anything, find anything out about anybody, yeah, Allie's definitely the one you want to check with. I don't want her necessarily digging into me for anything, though. Anyway, all right, guys, we will jump right to it. We're gonna laugh and make fun of these hacks. You know, the Charlie Kirk show. For starters, that is just the fact that it's still called the Charlie Kirk show is just ridiculous to me. And I don't know, the fact that they have his name going across the bottom of the screen the whole time, and then they want to bring hacks like this on to pretty much just straight up propagandize the American people. Claim because they've done this before that they know that they really know that we're all full of it, and they already know how this thing's going to go. It's a foregone conclusion, and I'm sorry, but these days it's sad to say, but anything that comes from that channel or any adjacent channels, I mean, you got to take with a grain of salt. Either that or just automatically just discount it, which is sad too. But yeah, they want to act like we're going to taint the jury pool by having alternate theories, but at the same time, they can get on X or on the Charlie Kirk show, all those other Turning Point USA folks and channels, and they can scream all day, every day that Tyler did it alone, 100%, you know, mountain of evidence, parents turned him in, the whole works. They can do that all day, every day, but that in no way taints the jury. So, I don't know, kind of odd to me. Hey, y'all guys in the chat, what does my microphone sound like? I just kind of got it going the other night, you know, because we were having technical difficulties, but I would like for it to be ideal or, you know, good. So y'all, yeah, and I apologize too for that bad audio. Miss Susan, I apologize for that. I wish I could have figured it out at the beginning. I had to apologize to Allie. I think I did yesterday, but either way, I apologized to her. I was like, I'm sorry for ruining the first part of your stream. So, but anyway, we'll try not to let that happen anymore. We'll try not to do that anymore. I don't like that. When I went back and listened to it, and I didn't realize just how bad it was. But oh yes, it was. Y'all were not exaggerating at all. It was terrible. Like there was hard. I could see some people not being able to hear me at all. So, let's see here. I think I got sorry guys, I'm just going to make a little quick change up in the top corner there. There. I think that's the one I've been using. Somehow or another ended up with the wrong one. Gotta have the right logo up there. Actually, that one's not the most current one, but that's the closest. Anyway, all right, enough of that. Let's get to it. Let's see, get my chat back up so I can see what y'all guys. I appreciate that, Miss Susan. I know, but I know how frustrating it is to not be able to hear somebody, and I can just did, Miss Susan, and I have got that loaded up. It's in the chamber, so we'll take a look at that. I really like him. He's pretty really smart dude, but he seems to be very I don't know what's the word I'm looking for. He seems to be fair. You know, he doesn't have his takes to me don't seem like they have any kind of partisan leaning or anything to them. So yeah, that was a good clip, and I'm actually going to go back and watch the Still a Fed. That's right. I'm going to go back and watch the whole thing though, since you sent me that short. So, you know what? I was trying to, and then the wife got home, and I forgot after that first try. I forgot. So maybe when we get done here, I'll check and see if he's still going. I would really love for him to accept me as a speaker. That would be great. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. All right, guys. Fire in the hole. Let me get. Oh, there's one of our favorite assholes, Mr. Andrew Covet himself. These guys are so full of it. I'm telling you, it's just crazy. Make sure my speed is good. Normal speed. Yep. Guess I could have done this beforehand. All right. Here we go, guys. Let's see what Mr. Andrew Covet and his guest professional have to say about this, because you know that anybody that would be on the Charlie Kirk show has got to be a professional. Nonpartisan, totally neutral, just straight up facts. Let's see what they say.
All right. I'm excited about our next guest, and that is a gentleman named Jay Town. Let me tell you about him. He's a former...
Hey, now, before we go any bit further, I just want to pause it there. How is my sound in relation to that? Is that a whole lot louder than me, or vice versa? Or are they both good? That was my next question. So, I got some thumbs up there. Yeah, all right. How's that? That good? That good? I bumped it up just a tad. I'd rather y'all have to turn it down a little bit than have to crank it all the way to the top, but I don't want to make anybody's ears bleed either. So, and I don't want to get all distorted. According to my little equalizer over there, though, it shows good. So I guess we'll continue on unless somebody brings up some issues. They're loud. Okay. Let's see. Oh God, this is rookie night here. All right, let's see. Where is... Well, where's my volume for my media? Let's see here. Sorry, guys. Hold, please. Hold for processing. All right, I tell you what, I'm going to, unless it's just super loud, I'm going to go ahead and get it started, and then I'm going to sit here. I cannot remember how to do it, but I know that I can figure it out. So I'm going to go ahead and let it play. And in the meantime, I'll be working on getting that volume down just a little bit just to equalize us out some. All right. That sounds like a plan. All right. Fire in the hole.
Marine Corps officer and judge advocate for 13 years. Former violent crimes prosecutor for the state of Alabama for 13 years. Trump appointed United States Attorney for the Northern District of Alabama in Trump's first term. He's a Newsmax legal analyst, and now he's the Chief Compliance Officer at Radiance Technologies. Jay, welcome to the Charlie Kirk Show.
It's an honor to be with you. And before we get into our chat, let me just say that like the tens of millions of households that grieved when Charlie was shot, it's really an honor to be here. My house was no different. It's an honor to be with you today.
Thank you for saying that. And yeah, it means a lot. It still does. So thank you for saying that.
It does.
I wanted to have you on, Jay, because I was told you are one of the leading experts in the country when it comes to litigating in the court of law, violent crime, understanding the way motions work from the defense and the prosecution and all this. Obviously, a lot of news and noise was made when the Daily Mail dropped that headline, and it was reporting on the brief from the prosecutor, Tyler, or the defense attorney for Tyler Robinson, where it said the bullets did not match. And you have some insight here to help us understand how to make more sense of this. I think we did a great job the day after this story launched, but I'm not done with it because I'm still upset about it.
We need to hit this.
Yeah.
Like this was such a dishonest headline by the Daily Mail.
So dishonest.
And it was run with by other dishonest people.
Yeah. You have a lot of experience in this. We don't have a lot of time with you. What did you make of the headline and the underlying evidence?
Yeah, nowhere in any report, in any reporting, either from the government, the ATF, or any of the filings from the state of Utah, does it say anything does not match. And I spent most of my adult life prosecuting violent
That's an awful strong statement.
crimes. That includes homicides.
What does inconclusive mean?
Most of those homicides involve firearms. So ATF ballistics reports, what we call firearms and tool marking reports, I've seen hundreds of them. And I can tell you that when it says unable to identify, which is all the report says, that does not equal, nor is that term the equivalent of, does not match. Unable to identify is describing the rifling characteristics on the fragmented round that was found in Charlie Kirk's body.
Unable to identify also, the way I understand English language, is pretty much the same as unable to link to firearm, unable to prove it came from the firearm.
And what that means, so inside of every long gun in the barrel, there's you see those little stripes, that's rifling.
Stripes.
Those impressions are made upon the round when it is fired. And because of the way it tumbles sometimes when it hits a person or a wall or whatever it might be, they're unable, ATF, the forensic experts, and they are the absolute best in the world at this through their NIBIN system and through their correlation system of finding out, even if there's just a little bit, whether or not the rifling matches the actual rifle. But there's two things in every firearm and tool mark report. The rifling, which they were unable to identify it because it was so degraded, the round that was found, but also the caliber class of that round, which is almost always determinable. Now, what that is the projectile. It's round at the base, and the diameter of that is the class of the caliber. Now, the rifle that we found was a 30-06, which fires a 30 caliber class round. And what was missing from the defense counsel's motion in his mouth, or her mouth rather, is what caliber class that round was. I will bet all the money in my pocket against all the money in yours, Andrew, that the ATF report describes this round as a 30 caliber class round. There's only a couple of rifles that fire that type of round. If it was a 22, let's say, caliber class, which would be a 5.56 or 2.23 round, so like an M16, that would have been what they led with. because it couldn't have been the 30-06. It doesn't fire a 223 or a
Okay,
556 round.
so
No freaking shit.
Jay, yeah, go
Yeah,
ahead.
let's pick at that. So you're saying really what we need to look at is not so much what the defense says, it's what they're not saying.
It's the dog that didn't bark here.
That's exactly right. And it's and the
It's always what they're not saying that's the issue.
defense lawyer knows that. The defense lawyer with this motion, they're buying time. As someone who's tried capital murders, I can tell you that, time is your friend. The longer these things drag out for the family, for the state, for the witnesses, the better your case as a defendant gets. Now, I will say, there is a mountain. Before coming on the show today, I reread the indictment against Tyler Robinson. There is just in that, and I would suggest to
Hey, did that change the volume on y'all's end? It did mine. I just want to make for sure it changed on y'all's end too. Because that's a whole lot better if it changed it on y'all's end too. Sorry guys, we get this figured out and we'll be ready to rock and roll. Okay. Awesome.
to everyone that there is another mountain of evidence that has not been described.
I love this, that there's a mountain of evidence. Like, where do they keep getting this from? I mean, has the FBI, has anybody at any point claimed that there's a mountain of evidence? I mean, literally the charging document that, to my knowledge, the things that are listed in there is pretty much it. I mean, yeah, we know they've got tons of video. Obviously, I would hope so, with like 1,800 cameras or whatever it was that were at UVU. But what is this mountain of evidence they keep talking about?
Disclosed and is not public yet. Like, for instance, that this is a 30 caliber class round that was.
Oh yeah. So he's saying that yeah, they for serials, they for reals, and they know that it's a 30 caliber bullet. They were able to get that off that little piece. They just ain't told nobody yet. We'll know this for sure at some point. Come the hell on.
Found in Charlie Kirk, but there is a mountain of evidence.
Mountain of evidence. How many times has he said a mountain of evidence in the past freaking less than a minute?
Admissions from Tyler Robinson to his roommate, to his mother, to his father.
Yeah, one thing about these admissions, especially the admissions to his roommate, I hate it for the prosecution, but they've got to figure out some kind of way to prove that shit that was written like Shakespeare, that conveniently completely exonerated the roommate, but yet completely, it was a complete confession for Tyler that Shakespearean piece that was found, they've got to prove 100% without reasonable doubt that it's legit. And I hope they've got something a whole lot better than what they put out, because by God, good luck convincing a jury with that shit that they put out. Now, even if it is time-stamped and looks like regular messages in this day and age, with all the technologies and stuff, with all the ways to hack things, with all the ways of, I mean, there's so many ways to, disguise. I feel like they are going to have a really hard time convincing a jury that those are even legit. So there's one of these admissions that's probably going to not mean shit.
There's a piece of paper with an admission on it where he texted.
This is the one I was just talking about.
His roommate to look under the keyboard. His DNA is on the spent cartridge. Remember, there was one shot fired, and there was no shell casing found at the scene. That suggests a bolt-action rifle. You know what was found also at the scene? A 30-06 Mauser 98 bolt-action.
Wrong. Does anybody remember there ever being a 30-06 found at the scene? Maybe I need to go back and go over everything back from the beginning again, because yeah, I don't remember that at all. Seems like I remember maybe some kind of 30-06. We're unclear on what kind, because we've heard a story about what the gun's supposed to be, and then pictures of something totally different. But seems like I remember a 30-06 being found down the road from the crime scene. But I don't remember them finding a firearm at the scene. But he's got to be right. He's talking to Andrew Covett and Blake Neff Speeds on the Charlie Kirk show. So he's super smart.
Rifle. His DNA's on that
And would not lie.
rifle. All the spent rounds.
shit. He's got DNA. Wow. He just blew my mind. How in the hell did Tyler Robinson's DNA get on a rifle that he owned? Just him having his DNA on that rifle is not enough to convict a man, especially not with the death penalty looming over. That ain't going to do it either. They're going to have to do better than that. I mean, what kind of juror wouldn't assume that there was some of his DNA on it somewhere, being as he owns the rifle? Also, can we get a few details about possibly maybe who the other 5 or 6 people are that their DNA's on it? Maybe none of them work for the FBI.
Or the one spent round, 2 of the 3 shell cartridges. There's CCTV footage showing his ingress and egress to his firing spot on the roof. And guess who recognized him? His mother and his father.
Did they, though? Did they, though? Now, I have no way of proving this. This is total speculation, 100%. But let's just say Mama was sitting there, because that was I believe that was the official narrative, was that the mama saw it, and then called the daddy, and then told him that she thought it was Tyler. But anyway, sorry, I was reading that comment. Mermaid. I mean, I think they probably drove him up there. But to me, there's a big difference. Saying they turned him in is kind of misleading. Just because they drove him up there doesn't really mean that they quote unquote turned him in. Anyway, but so all right. So Mama's sitting there. She's watching the evening news. And all of a sudden, this comes up about Charlie Kirk. They're talking about a manhunt. They describe the person that they're hunting for, and she probably doesn't think a whole lot of it. And then all of a sudden, they put that grainy-ass picture of whoever that is they put up on the TV screen. And she looks at that. She's like, ooh, that kind of resembles Tyler. Not, oh, my God, I am positive 100% that is my son. No, like, who? Boy, that guy resembles Tyler. Now, if you thought that there was even the slightest remote chance, if you thought that he might get confused for the guy because there's enough resemblance and it might turn into a bad situation, what would you do if it was your kid? Would you keep your fingers crossed, trust the system, hope everything works, but carry him up there to allow him to, clear himself, but possibly keep him from getting shot in a raid? I mean, I think just because they drove him up there in the car, that is a far cry from his parents turned himself in, and not only his parents turned him in. And not only that, but turned him in because they knew when they saw the pictures that it was him. Just like Daddy knew that was Grandpappy's 30-06 when he saw a picture of it, but only there was no picture out when that supposedly happened. And then when the picture did come out, it wasn't the gun that was purported to be there. So, wow. All right, I'm good and confused now. Let's go.
There's not another shooter. There's not another gun. There's not another person culpable or guilty of the murder of Charlie Kirk.
That's an awful strong statement. That's assuming that he 100% is. I don't know.
It's Tyler Robinson. He's sitting in a Utah jail waiting trial right now.
Mm-hmm. He's guilty until proven innocent.
Charlie loved this country, and he loved partnering with organizations that truly stand for what makes America great. One of our most trusted partners, AMAC, the Association of Mature American Citizens.
Sorry about the commercial. I noticed when I was watching this before that thing was really loud. Why, I don't know.
Is doing something special in Charlie's honor. AMAC is offering free membership.
Boy, they sure do bring up his name every single chance they get. And it's just amazing. You know, it's just a coincidence that they bring his name up in this commercial here, huh? That's all I'm going to say about that.
Ships to all ages. No credit card, no strings attached. Just a chance to stand for faith, family, and freedom. Join this movement. Go to amac.us/Charlie today. That is amac.us/Charlie today. Yeah, I mean,
Blake's bald ass needs to do a better job at producing. I think maybe that's not what he does, but I thought he did do some part of the producing or whatever. Anyway, whoever does it needs to pay more attention because, yes, that was extremely loud.
what your insight here is, I think, really important.
Oh, yeah. The insight is just breathtaking.
Jay, that it's what the defense did not say in that motion. They did not contend the caliber of the round, which is something. Right. That's a huge, and I didn't even have eyes to see that I needed to look for that.
Me neither.
You saw that because you've read so many of these motions over the years and read so many of these ATF reports that you instantly knew that if the defense knew that it was a different round based on the ATF report, which we haven't read, that they would have led with that. That would have been their first point that they made in that motion. They didn't, which means they sort of, by omission, admitting that it's a .30 caliber.
That is such a stretch. What the hell makes him think that? Oh,
absolutely by omission. It is, well, as you said, it's by what they did not say. And the reason they didn't say it is because they know that is in the report.
What if what's in the report is, again, inconclusive? You know, maybe when they said that the thing was inconclusive, maybe that meant totally inconclusive, not just the lands and grooves, not just, the markings that they're looking for, but not only that, but the caliber. What if when they said that the test was inconclusive, that meant all the way around, caliber and markings on the piece? That's going to be my bet, because my actual bet at the end of the day is whatever that piece is didn't come off of a bullet. That's just my guess, though.
It would be otherwise very, very useful exculpatory evidence. But since it is in the report, it directly matches, to use the media's term anyway, by the way, unable to identify and does not match, once again, do not mean the same thing. But it wouldn't match if it was a .22 caliber. But you know what? It does, because it's a .30 caliber. And I'll tell you this, too.
A bullet, yes. If they were testing a bullet, yes. And now look, I'll throw the caveat, I'll throw the disclaimer out there. I am no attorney, no forensic scientist, blah, 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 blah. I'm not a professional at anything other than, roofing and running my mouth. Now, how are you going to take a bullet jacket fragment, a small, tiny piece that is allegedly broken off of a bullet jacket, and by looking at that, determine what kind of caliber the bullet that is not there ended up being? To me, that makes absolutely no sense. And I think he's bad wrong. That's just my thoughts. So, again, I'm not a lawyer, not a prosecutor, not a professional.
I can't tell you how many murders I've prosecuted or assaults involving a firearm where we couldn't identify the rifling because the round was so degraded that we were able to examine. It's very common. Like I said, the ATF is the absolute best in the world at identifying rifling
Obviously not this time. It looks like the FBI is going to have to pull up the slack. Ooh.
characteristics and also examining for the caliber class. And they always get it right. And so the defense lawyer
Always. They never miss. Never miss.
mentioned that they might use the ATF report as exculpatory evidence. Go ahead. Knock yourself out, because we'll throw an expert on the stand, we being the good guys, that says, no, this is the exact type of round that is used in that Mauser 98 bolt action 30-06 rifle.
That's exactly right, Mermaid. That's exactly right.
It's the same kind. And how many rounds were fired? One. How many spent shell casings were found? One. Was his DNA on that spent shell casing? Yes. I mean, it is overwhelming evidence, and his intent is overwhelming too, that he intended to kill Charlie Kirk that fateful day.
Overwhelming. I love that word. That's exactly right, Susan. We got the best. We got the best of the best on our side. We got the attorney dream team.
Why would the defense want to drag this out? Dive into that more. You said that's their goal.
Sure.
Is really.
Yeah, that's right. They see through the bullshit. But Miss Susan, you got to reword that. They're cutting through the bullshit. That's what my little logo says. So cutting through the bullshit.
To like delay. Are they trying to spread conspiracy? They must be aware of the conspiracy culture that's emerged. Are they trying to play into that to potentially taint the jury? Would that be a motive that you could?
Would that possibly be a motive? Such an idiot. He's just completely lost. He has no clue. He doesn't know what he's driving at. He's not trying to drive. He's not trying to make some kind of he's not beating around the bush at some particular point. A lint roller. There you go. That's exactly right.
Divine from this?
Sure. I mean, so part of it is the delay, because, okay, we need our expert now, and that's going to take 6 months to a year, and this is all to drag it out. That's part of it. The trial date.
It's funny how they're claiming that the main point of this is to delay. They need more time because they're going to have to get an expert. Blah 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 blah. Every single one of these assholes that makes this point fails to mention what was it now? Was it 60,000 digital files, or was it 600,000? It was an ungodly astronomical amount that they literally dropped on them a month and a half or so before the court date, just like a couple weeks ago. That in and of itself is reason for a delay. So don't come to me and say that the whole purpose of this bullet fragment thing is just to delay it, when they've got every reason in the world to delay regardless of that. That is I just do not buy that. That is not why they're bringing that up, just so they can delay.
It could get moved, obviously.
Yeah, 600,000 exactly. Hey, Enraged Patriot, nice to see you there. I'm not sure if I've seen you in the chat before or not, but welcome. And I'd love for you to make yourself a regular. We have a good time in the chat. It's a little bit light tonight, but it is what it is. It's getting late, and you can't have everybody in there all the time. But love to see you in there again. If you're not subscribed, please do that. And anybody that's not watching now watches this in the future, please hit that subscribe button, the notification bell, and definitely do the likes and all that stuff. Oh, I hear you. I do that too sometimes, Enraged. Not a problem with that. I appreciate you being here, and like I said, if you're not subscribed, please do that. And Here we go. Let's listen to some more bullshit.
And onward and so forth. But they're aware of the conspiracy theorists, the whack jobs that are on the internet, and even in print media with a headline that says does not match. That was all over. It was USA Today. It was others. They were just wrong. As dishonest as it is, it's just actual factually and forensically.
What does inconclusive mean? If it was conclusive, if the test was how do words work? If the test was conclusive, there would only be two options, correct? It either matched conclusively or didn't match conclusively. Okay? Two options. So they said the test was inconclusive. The whole purpose of this test is to hopefully match it. But since it was inconclusive, correct me if I'm wrong, but is that not the same as it not matching? I may be missing something here. I'm not the sharpest tool in the shed, but
incorrect to make that statement that it does not match. It shows how
it doesn't match. Oh, shit.
Little the left knows, or the people twisting their mustache know about firearms, right? Especially about firearms and tool marking tests that the ATF provides. So I'm sure they're willing to, my experience is they're absolutely willing to taint the jury pool with this sort of cast of little bits of doubt here and there. So that, that when 12 people are sitting in the box, it actually might go their way with one of those people. But as soon as it comes out, hopefully the state will file something soon that will mention the 30 caliber class of this particular.
Don't hold your breath, buddy. I may be wrong, but I don't think they can get all that off of one tiny little fragment off of a bullet jacket. If they had the whole jacket, possibly. If they had the whole bullet, possibly, or the majority of the bullet. But with one tiny little piece off the jacket, I'm sorry. I could be wrong, but I don't see them being able to definitively determine a caliber either.
Fragmented round, so that you can have me back on, and you'll owe me all the money in your pocket, Andrew, because I will have been
I'm
right.
not betting.
Who wants to bet if he's wrong? He don't come back on to talk about it.
Against Jay.
The ATF
It's all funny right now.
will have been proven correct, and also
Jay.
the professionals that they are.
The ATF will be proven correct. Okay, so basically at the end of the day, it's going to be inconclusive. Correct? Correct.
Yeah, Jay, thank you so much I think that was such an important insight. And again, we're not rushing to judgment here. We want the legal process to play out. This is the
Right.
Yeah, we want the legal process to play out as long as it plays out in our favor in the way that we want it to play out. They're not worried about justice, or they're not worried about any of that. They want this nightmare to be over. They want him shut up one way or the other. They want him out of people's thoughts and minds and mouths, and they want to just move on, hope everybody forgets about it, so all that money can keep rolling in and back to business as usual. They don't give a damn whether he's the one that actually did it or not. They could not care less.
system we have, and I fully expect Tyler Robinson's defense to mount a rigorous defense. That's what they're supposed to do. So, J-Town, thank you so much. This was great. Really, really important insight, and we will have you back on. You have quite the resume. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
He had to mention his resume again at the end, like, what the hell?
Guys, I want to tell you about All Family Pharmacy. For a lot of Americans, the
shit about All
healthcare system
Family
is
Pharmacy.
reactive. You get sick first, and then you wait for an appointment. Then insurance decides what you can have. Don't be like that. Go to All Family Pharmacy.
Okay, guys, what'd y'all think about that one? Is that not some seriously layered bullshit? I mean, like, these people act like just because they have a degree or just because whatever, they can just, spew whatever bullshit that they want to, and people just have to accept it. Like, look, I'm a professional. I know what I'm talking about. You don't, so just shut up and listen. And all these people that are screaming the loudest about this, it's just funny how all of them also have some type of, or it's possible anyway, probable that they have some type of incentive for wanting to do that, not just because that's what they believe. I'm convinced, 100%. All right, guys, let's go. Let's jump into this other clip, this other clip I've got. This one is great. If you don't get a laugh out of this one, there is something wrong with you. This is some good shit. This is another, this is another professional. This guy's a real professional. All right, we almost there, guys. Almost there. That's exactly right. All directions. Again, this guy, just keep in mind, remember, this guy's a professional. He's a ballistics and ammo professional. Please do yourself a favor. Do me a favor. The next time you go to buy ammo, do not buy this brand. I've got a feeling there's a chance, allegedly, maybe, possibly, perhaps, it could kill you. That's all I'm saying. This guy's something else. That's all I got to say about that. We'll see. Torture you. I'm sorry. I know I'm so terrible. I'm so mean, am I not? It's great. All right, guys. Let's see what this lovely professional has to say.
There was a breaking news.
Look at Blake's bald-headed ass sitting there, like, my God, that guy just kills me. And he acts so, like, sometimes he talks so tough, like like, dude, shut the fuck up.
News story about the Tyler Robinson.
That's it, the Phoenix guy. Please do not ever buy Phoenix ammo.
Trial, which
several breaking
everything.
news stories.
It wasn't.
Oh yeah, listen here. Pay close attention. I want you to watch. I'm gonna make this a little bigger for you. Let's see. Actually, whoops. There, I'm back again. Oh, wait a minute. Hold on. My bad. Thought I did this. Guess I didn't. There we go. Now, y'all pay close attention. I was just talking about how annoying Blake was. Watch here. Watch him just cut in and just run all over Andrew, and Andrew's just got to take it. But look, notice the look on Andrew's face. He's got that serious, like, what the hell, dude? Like he wanted to reach over there and slap him right on the top of that bald ass head. It's great stuff. Yeah. Watch that look when Blake just runs all over him.
There was a breaking news story about the Tyler Robinson trial, which
several breaking news stories.
It wasn't
and I think
actually breaking.
That's
it was a
really
breaking
what we actually
headline.
want to emphasize, because there's several pieces of it. And
You can't say it was some kind of technical difficulties or whatever. I could understand if there's a delay, but they're literally sitting right beside each other. So, How rude, Blake. How rude, Mr. Neff. You need to shut the hell up at Blake Neff speed.
and what people decided to run with online was pretty different from what you and I actually think.
Yeah, well, what y'all two think is actually doesn't matter at all. Matter of fact, I would prefer to not hear what you and him think.
Is the biggest reveal of it.
There was actually a lot of
I can't even stand to hear that guy's voice. Ugh.
reveals, but people should know this. So essentially, the Daily Mail comes out with an article that says the bullet does not match the gun.
This is the literal headline that the Daily Mail used, and which got millions of views on X.
Millions.
The headline was, "Bullet used to kill Charlie Kirk did not, all caps, match rifle allegedly used by suspect Tyler Robinson. New court filing claims." Now, we're going to have to unpack that
We're going to
immediately.
unpack a lot of that.
I hope you packed a lunch.
But here to help us do it is somebody that I've been watching online for a while now. I've been really impressed with his takes.
He's really impressed with his takes. I wonder if one of those takes that he's so impressed with is the one where dude said, and this is the dude, where dude said, you don't know what you're talking about. I'm a ballistics and ammunition expert. When the bullet went in there, when it hit his skin acted like a trampoline, and it bounced the bullet back and made it go the opposite direction. When I heard that, I thought, this guy is just trolling. But it turns out, no, he's that stupid.
I've never met him in person before, but he agreed to come on because he was instantly on top of this story. His name is Justin Nazaroff. He's the CEO of Phoenix Ammunition. Welcome to the show, Justin.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Yeah, it's the first time I've ever seen you, Justin. So it's
The guy owns an ammunition manufacturing company, so he is automatically a freaking professional and a forensic scientist and all that good shit to boot.
It's great to see you. So let's just take apart this headline from the Daily Mail. I saw you criticizing it as sort of an egregious misrepresentation of the facts. They're saying the bullet does not match the rifle, court filing claims, right? What's your read of what actually it says?
Well, I mean, it's one of those headlines where they can say something that's true, but because they leave out the context.
Oh, he already started off on a bad foot there. They can say something that's true. Don't you know Andrew is like, what the fuck are we doing with this guy? By the time this is over, he's really going to regret having him on. I can promise you that.
As soon as you read the article, you can see why it's false. And so what they did was they analyzed a bullet jacket fragment and were unable to determine that it came from the shooter's rifle.
Mm-hmm.
So unfortunately, ballistic science is, in a lot of cases, a best guess. And
He's not helping the case. It's just a best guess. There's no way to prove it. What he's doing is if that jury's watching right now, basically he's telling the jury, look, even if they do have a conclusive test and they do come up with an answer and they do state that they tie them together, guess what? You can't believe it, because forensic science like this, when it comes to ballistics and ammunition, it's all best guess. There's no for sure way to prove anything. It's just a best guess.
And in many other cases, pseudoscience.
Just a bunch of pseudoscience, jury. You can't trust the test, even if it's conclusive.
But what we know is it doesn't work like CSI Las Vegas. When a bullet hits something and deforms, which
I'm more of a CSI Miami kind of guy anyway.
is what we've been talking about the whole time, we're assuming that the shooter probably used a hollow point.
Exactly right, Enraged Patriot. That's exactly right. They are going to get the answer they need. They're going to get the results they need. And this short that I'm going to play here at the end, it'll really shed a little light on that. But they are not going to help matters, even if they do quote unquote prove that the thing came from that rifle. It is not going to help them at all. It is only going to make things worse.
Or some other bullet that is functionally intended to deform when it hits something. And so when it does that, it doesn't come out in a nice, perfect form where you can see all the lands and grooves from the barrel and make a positive match. So in this case,
So he just said that once a bullet is shot and contact, once a bullet is shot and it hits something, then it's almost impossible to tell anything about it. That's what he basically, if you unpack what he said, that's what he just said.
They can't determine whether the bullet was fired from the rifle, but they also can't determine that it wasn't fired from the rifle. That's
Right.
effectively all I'm saying. They're saying that there's some reasonable doubt.
Oh, what was that he just said? Did y'all hear that? Should I back that back up? What is it that Lionel's been talking about a lot lately? He says not to go down all the rabbit trails, not to worry about all that stuff. There is just one very simple thing that we all need to remember. What is the one thing that we all have to do? What is that one little thing that we have to cast? Reasonable doubt. Buddy, you just fucked everybody on that show. Erica Kirk probably just threw a wine glass through the TV screen or something.
That it could theoretically have been something else.
Ooh, it could have theoretically been something else. That's what this test is saying. Holy Lord, keep talking, dumbass.
Now, and I'm not making an affirmative declaration one way or another. I want people to understand that. This has nothing to do with what I think happened or what anybody else
I love it.
thinks happened. All I'm doing is looking at the facts. And as somebody who's been doing this for a very long time, knowing that most people just really don't understand much about firearms generally, and even people in the firearms community who do understand firearms generally don't really know a lot about ammunition.
Yeah, and so you're saying basically because the fragmentation of the bullet was so severe, I don't mean to sort of infer by your tone here, but you're saying, of course, this would be one of the options that, of course, you wouldn't be able to necessarily identify it via forensic evidence with the gun. There's other ways you could. Now, the caliber matches, all of these kinds of things. But, you know, I think what people expect is sort of the CSI version of reality.
A lot of people think, and I think this is a graphic you can see in TV shows.
Here comes the words of wisdom. Look at him. He's all getting into it. He's all fired up and ready to go at Blake Neff speed.
Or movies
Yeah.
where they'll take like a bunch of little pieces of metal out of like, you know,
Thin air,
and then they'll like
morph
put them
them
all onto like a little, you know, machine, and then like the computer will assemble all the bits, and they'll just see it. Oh, they'll like bend the bits and reassemble the bullet, and then like green text will pop up that says confirmed
ding,
match.
ding, ding. Yeah. So,
And-
yeah, I'm just going to read one of your tweets. I'm not going to put it up on screen because you used some color.
So of course we should expect an inconclusive test. Of course, that's the way it always is. It's never conclusive.
Language here, Justin, but you say completely and utterly misleading garbage about this Daily Mail headline. You say the bullet is unable to be identified because it's fragment. You use more colorful language here. It's fragmented into a bunch of pieces. And when that happens, they don't do some magic CSI Las Vegas animation where they manage to reassemble the bullet and perfectly align the lands and grooves to match a barrel. None of that is real. That is not how science works. And then, you know, it was interesting to watch the internet last night. This story hits, all the usual suspects take it and run it, and then a bunch of saner voices come in and
What's up, nosy Google? Hey. How late are you? Let's see. Just shy of an hour. Right at an hour. That's okay though. That's what that backup button's for. You can go back. Glad to see you in here though. I am glad to see you in here.
say this is not something new. We've known that the bullet fragmented. We knew that, like, lining
We
it
knew
up perfectly.
in the first days afterwards.
Yeah,
that the
lining
bullet
it
had
perfectly up
fragmented.
to the rifle
Oh, we knew it. We knew that. Okay.
was going to be a challenge. But there's other ways that you could match in theory, right? And again, I
He's asking. He is not telling. I can promise you that.
respect that you're not trying to say this happened or that happened. You're just giving us the details. You're giving us the facts. There's other ways you could match a gun to
That's right, Miss Susan. Absolutely.
a bullet, correct?
Yeah,
like
well,
if
as
the
an
casings
example,
match,
or they could test the metal and show this is the same metal as the rounds that were recovered with the rifle.
Sure.
Which
Sounds like he's been talking to somebody at the FBI because that's the test that they're fixing to do. And it's a bad test and has been proven to be very ineffective and actually put people in jail or in prison that should not have been in prison. So, Yeah, sounds like he's been talking to somebody at the FBI.
Remember, we have a rifle with rounds that have political messages engraved on them.
And the casing that they have from this also has a message engraved on it, apparently that matches.
Sure.
Yeah, Justin.
I mean, I guess I'll even walk that back a bit further. It's actually very difficult to match a bullet.
Me too, Enraged Patriot. And you know, he doesn't have to prove anything. I don't think he's trying to prove anything. I think basically he's putting that message out there more for all the normies and the people that listen to guys like this, just to kind of maybe cushion that fall a little bit when this comes, just to get people kind of mentally prepared, because some people are probably going to lose their absolute shit whenever he gets either acquitted or what have you. And so I think that's one reason Lionel has been so hard and heavy on this, is just to get people mentally prepared for what's to come, because I think it's I think we're going to get an acquittal or something.
To a rifle.
Either that or it's just going to get thrown out.
So, for example, 30-06 as a cartridge uses the same bullet that's used.
And again, I want to make this very clear. I have absolutely nothing for Tyler Robinson. I'm not saying that he is completely innocent of any of this. And if he did some crime, if he did the crime, he needs to do the time. But I just am not convinced that he has done what they're claiming he did. So if he had some other smaller part in it, that's fine. He needs to do the time for that. But he doesn't need to, be convicted for killing the man if he didn't actually do that. For one, it's not right for Tyler. I mean, that's terrible to think that maybe a man could get life in prison or even the death penalty for something that he didn't do. And at the same time, if he gets convicted of it but wasn't the guy, that is not justice for Charlie in any way. I mean, that allows whoever actually did it to just go free. So, these guys completely hanging their hat and being married to this Tyler Robinson thing, that's why I say, they're not interested in justice for Charlie. They just want this thing to wrap up. They want to prove it with some crazy leftist, and they want to move on.
In .308 Winchester. So even if you recovered a .308 diameter bullet.
He's making my case here. This has been my argument. Lordy, I love this guy. He just keeps on talking. It gets better and better and better.
That was perfectly intact. If you didn't have the rifle that it was fired from to match the lands and grooves, there would be no way for you to determine that it was fired from a rifle chambered in .308 Winchester or 30-06. And so then when you start...
It could have been a 300 Win Mag, could have been a 300 Blackout, could have been a 30-06, could have been a 308, and the list goes on and on and on. Could have been a 30-30. It's just a 30 caliber bullet.
Mangling up bullets that are roughly about the same size. A lot of medium to large caliber rifles use projectiles that are roughly the same length.
That's right, Nosy Google.
Roughly the same weight, roughly the same diameter. So if you smash those up into pieces, you may not even, if they didn't have a rifle to compare it to, there's no guarantee that they would even be able to know what the caliber of the cartridge was beyond reasonable doubt. So it's a very inexact science.
There was that term again. Did y'all catch that? Reasonable doubt. He's just told the jury twice that, seems like there's an awful lot of reasonable doubt involved in this process.
and in this case, Candace Owens, I hate to bring her up, but she mentioned on her podcast on September 25th that the bullet was fragmented into pieces. So this is something that, the people on that side of the fence have known for a long time. And they're just basically milking more views and more audience out of the same information we already had. It's basically like Schrodinger's bullet, right? If they had managed to recover a fully intact bullet where the lands and grooves matched perfectly, People on the other side would say, well, it's obvious that the bullet was planted because you're telling me that a bullet was fired through a human being and it was in perfect condition. There's no way that that came out of Charlie Kirk. It must have been something that they fired in a test range, and this is what they're using to frame the shooter.
Right.
But in this case, because it's broken up into pieces, they can say, oh, well, see, we can't even identify the bullet. So it must not have been Tyler Robinson. It has to be somebody else. It's
What this jackass is not saying, though, I would hope that he knows, regardless of all that BS he just said, they affirmatively, they conclusively match fragments all the time. Like, he acts like the fact that it was fragmented automatically discounts it from being conclusive by a test. And that is not the case. They do it all the time. Now, for whatever reason, this one's inconclusive. Could it be possibly that piece is not from a bullet and instead from, let's say, a piece of copper out of a microphone, or a piece of copper that broke off of a copper cone in a shaped charge? Possibly. So maybe those are why it's inconclusive. Maybe it doesn't have anything to do with the rifle or any of that. Maybe the reason why it's inconclusive is because it never got fired out of a rifle. Or maybe Brian Harpole shoved it in there with his finger when they were going down the road. Maybe that's why it doesn't match. We don't know. And at the end of the day, for these fuckers to act like, that them saying inconclusive doesn't mean that it doesn't match is just so absolutely stupid.
It's nonsense.
On TikTok, teens get over 50 built-in protections from the start. But for parents, further visibility and control of content can help create the right environment. That's where family pairing comes in. Teens under 18 have a 60...
That's what I'm guessing in Rage Patriot. Either that or that's what I'm guessing.
minute screen time reminder in place. And with family pairing, parents can set their own screen time limits or even set restricted times based on what works best for their family. Family pairing lets parents link accounts to see their teens' followers and who they follow, and help restrict content that's not right for them. Because peace of mind shouldn't take guesswork. With easy-to-use tools like family pairing, parents can help shape the environment that makes the most sense for their teen first. That way, discovery and creativity can follow. Learn more at tiktok.com/guardiansguide.
Yeah, and a lot of people have gotten hung up on the fact that they say that what they're testing is a bullet jacket fragment. So, see, that proves it. It was a bullet. It was shot from a gun. Y'all are stupid talking about microphones and shit. No, at the end of the day, they have a narrative that they have to keep. The narrative is that he was shot with a .30-06 rifle. Besides that, I mean, they are going to work under the assumption, if there is a foreign piece of metal in a wound on a man's neck, they're going to be working under the assumption that it's part of a bullet. But that does not mean that they have 100% determined that it most definitely is a piece of a bullet. Like that's just going to be their working assumption, is that it is part of a bullet, you know. And maybe they know it's not. But the narrative says it was a bullet, so what are they supposed to say? That doesn't prove anything.
Here's the interesting thing. So if you looked at all this documentation, and again, this was not new news. There was a court filing, actually, I think by the media.
Exactly, in Rage Patriot. We got to see all of that.
Yeah, that confirmed the fragmentation of the bullet. And
only thing about it is, though, on a GSR, they would have had to have gotten it quick, and the only way to have done one on him wouldn't have been to test his hands. He might, sometimes you get some from a rifle, but a lot of times it is very minimal, if at all. Now, sometimes with the rifle, I do know that sometimes they can get some off of the clothing just from like the microscopic little bits and particles that come out when it's fired. But the GSR tests are not nearly as dependable and as accurate on long guns as they are on handguns. I do know that much. But yeah, I mean, I would hope that they did one. What do you want to bet if they did? It come back negative, and again, that's another thing that has not been brought up, and that would be a pretty good explanation as to why.
ATF report a couple of weeks back, but somehow this became the headline. The defense also referenced, so they use this to say, hey, we're going to try and delay this trial even more, which in my opinion,
there it goes again. The only reason they're doing that is to delay this trial. Ain't got nothing to do with the 600,000 digital files that got dropped in their lap a month and a half before they're supposed to be at trial.
would be unfortunate because I think the country, there's a void that's filled. The legal system
That's right, enraged patriot, exactly.
does not move at the speed of social media, and we see this causing problems all the time. But it's interesting.
Oh, maybe it's a good thing. Maybe it's a good thing. Guess what? It exposes liars like yourself.
In this same document, they say the defense also referenced the massive size of evidence amassed by 28 law enforcement agencies in the case. According to the motion, the discovery in the case includes 20,000 files, 61,500 pages of documents and images, and over 700 hours of video. Not to mention, we also find out that the parents and the trans-identifying boyfriend.
Miss Susan, to me, I'm sorry. This is all allegedly, but he just, to me, he just looks like he looks like a pervert to me. That's just my opinion. It's all allegedly. I'm not accusing him of anything.
And Lance Twiggs are going to be prosecuting, or going to be testifying on behalf of the prosecution. And yet, this is what becomes the headline. What do you make of all of that, Justin, when you kind of take it all in together?
Well, it seems obvious that there are people who will latch onto the piece of evidence that they think can be most easily used to confuse people. Like I was getting at earlier, this is a situation where no matter what they said about the bullet in particular, there would be a way for them to spin it to either prove or disprove what they think happened. So unfortunately, all the other evidence, the videos and what have you, none of that has been viewable by the public. And I think once that does become viewable.
That's awful odd, isn't it? You know, Gary Melton and a bunch of other people, they always say, oh, they've got all kinds of good video. They got tons of it. We just haven't seen it. It's in that mountain of evidence that'll come out in court. It's in that mountain of evidence that they've got that the public's not seen. But yet, they put out a video so the public can help them locate a man. And it's the shittiest video that you could ever imagine. And so shitty, in fact, that you can't even you can't even really positively identify anybody from it. But yet they've got better footage. Something tells me that that's not the case. Either that or they do have better footage, and that better footage shows something that they do not want to be seen. Or it lacks something that they wish would be on there. Otherwise, if it helped their case, they would have just put that out there. It would have made it so much easier for the public to identify him when they were looking for him. I mean, like, use your freaking brains, guys. Why would they put out a shitty, grainy video of a dude that you can barely make out if they have perfect, crystal clear, high definition footage of the same guy doing what they're alleging that he did? I'll answer that for you. They don't have crystal clear footage of this Tyler Robinson doing what they're alleging that he's doing or did.
It will answer a lot of these questions and, ideally get everybody on the same page. But for the time being, most of the theories on the other side of the table revolve around the idea that it could not have been Tyler Robinson because there's no way that a 30-06 could have caused the damage that it caused without causing more damage. And so,
Well, yeah,
it's caused-
Justin, yeah, a pause right there, because a lot of this has,
Andrew probably just had a flashback of a post maybe he's seen from this guy on X that said something to the effect of his skin acted like a trampoline. He said, whoa, let's pause there.
and I hate going into it on this, but like at some point we have to. Charlie was my friend. He was Blake's friend. He sat in this chair.
Hey, how you doing? We got Boomer in the chat. I remember seeing you in there on Allie's stream when we were live the other night. I am glad to see you here. Thank you so much for dropping in. Now you've made it in here. You got to be a regular now. That's the rule. You got to come hang out all the time. Once you come in there, once you come into the chat, you've got to always come in there and say, that's just the way it works. Hey, I appreciate you being in here. I really appreciate the support.
For years, and it's hard to even talk about this because it is graphic in nature. But, you know, a lot of this conspiracy stuff goes around no exit wound. Well, there's different types of bullets, and I'm getting educated on this. And when you see fragmentation like this...
Yes, I did see that, Boomer. I did. And, yeah, I mean, obviously, there's some points that I possibly disagree on or maybe don't fully 100% agree on or not convinced. But overall, though, his theory, I mean, I'm with him. I know that he's starting to lean more towards the necklace charm, and I'm not saying it's impossible. But yes, his overall theory. At the end of the day, to me, it was either the microphone or the necklace. I'm still leaning towards the microphone. But the other big thing is that, you know, where we may not 100% agree on some of the details as to how, but that everybody around him did betray him. And they, at minimum, I feel like allegedly knew that it was knew what was coming, what was going to happen, if they weren't even directly involved in it.
What does that tell you about the nature of the round itself? What kind of, you know, there's hollow point, there's full metal jacket. Does it tell you something about the type of round and why there wouldn't be an exit wound?
Yeah, it tells me that somebody wanted Charlie Kirk dead. I mean, that's really the long and the short of it.
He's a freaking genius. He's an absolute, it blows my mind.
If you're going to assassinate somebody, you would most assuredly use some sort of a hollow point projectile or some other type of projectile that's designed to break into pieces, because
yeah, he has. He's in that group of people that, Brett, he's in that group of creators that I've been talking about lately that just, I don't know. I don't understand where it's coming from or why. I don't know if it's jealousy or what, but yeah, he has been pissing some people off. I mean, like, look, he's been going after Allie. I mean, like, Allie Top Files is one of the least controversial. I mean, she's not aggressive or going after people or messing with anybody. Like, that would be the last person in the world that I would expect somebody to be going after or hassling. And yet that's happening. So, I don't know why. And I don't understand it.
That's what causes the most terminal damage on the target. You would not want to use something like a full metal jacket bullet where it would pass all the way through the target.
I know, Susan, and I used to enjoy watching Matt. Like I did when he first started. I watched him a lot, but I just cannot take the negativity. Like I can't stand to hear somebody from the time they get started till the time they end going after people, questioning their motives, you know, acting like you're entitled to whatever anybody else has, that everything should be on your schedule and not theirs. And it just, like, it gets old. It's like Gary like I used to watch him when he talked guns, and I used to watch him when he talked Charlie Kirk and was objective about it. But then he turned into it turned into a Candace bash fest, every single episode. And I'm just not going to do it. I can't do it.
Leave a relatively small entry and possibly small exit wound. So this is exactly what
Facts, Brett. Facts, Brett. That is exactly right.
I would expect. I mean, like, you hate to say it, but if you were in a
And yes, Boomer, he did. I mean, he definitely done a flip for sure. He belly flopped, but he did do a flip.
position to politically assassinate somebody, that's exactly the round that you would choose. So it tells me that this is somebody who thought about it a little bit.
Boomer, they're talking about Black Line Brief. It's Matt McKim with at Black Line Brief,
And
he's good. He does some good stuff, but I just keep picking up this negativity from, and it's not just him. There's several creators out there, and I just can't take the negativity right now.
decided that they wanted somebody dead. It's consistent with somebody that knows enough about firearms to understand that you're using a hollow point round for things like hunting and self-defense, specifically for that reason, because they expand, they unfold, they break into pieces, and it generally leave no exit wound, because in those cases, the idea is to
generally leave no exit wound. This guy is so full of shit. You know how many deer I've shot before? I have never seen a deer get shot with a 30-06 broadside. Now, yes, if you're lined up and it goes in through the body from front to back, or vice versa, from rear to the front, yes, that's a little different. That's a lot further path to travel. But just shooting broadside, straight into the shoulder or the neck. I mean, I don't think I've ever seen one that didn't have an exit wound. So that is false. That's bullshit, and he knows that.
prevent hitting somebody that's behind the person that you're trying to defend yourself from, or causing it to pass all the way through an animal and perhaps endanger somebody behind it, or just at worst passing through and not causing enough damage to either eliminate the threat in the case of a self-defense scenario, or in the case of hunting, to cause the animal to die quickly and humanely. So this is 100% consistent with what I would have expected to hear.
What I've gathered, is that apparently in 40% of cases involving high velocity rounds, they're unable to match a bullet to a weapon because of this fragmentation that happens. Apparently, it's very common. Almost half of the cases you can't match it because the bullet is so badly damaged.
Which I want to really dive into that, because we're still able to make conclusions in cases where they can't make that match, and that's what we really should emphasize. The real news of the past few days from these filings from the defense is they're reacting to evidence that the prosecution is planning to present, including at the preliminary hearing that they want pushed back by 6 months because they're trying to drag this case out as long as possible.
Or possibly it has something to do with 600,000 digital files that somebody's got to go through. You know how many people it would take just to, and if this is all day, every day going through files to get to get all that material gone through, even in 6 months. That's a shitload of material.
At the preliminary hearing, it is reported that the prosecution plans to call Tyler Robinson's parents and Tyler.
Yeah, that is true, Boomer. And you know what? I don't agree with that. But at the end of the day, I'm not going to hate on anybody for it. I mean, look, some of these people, I honestly feel like it's just a coping mechanism. I believe a lot of people just cannot stand the thought, that it actually happened, what they actually saw happen. And that's just a way of coping. Some people. Now others probably just being dishonest. But yeah, I feel like he's gone. I hate that, but yeah, that's just the way I see it.
Tyler Robinson's furry boyfriend to the stand. So we've seen over and over, it just gets wildly alleged on social media that actually,
Oh yeah, Susan, that was the plan. I can guarantee you. They dump all those down in their lap, and they make sure all the good stuff is right in the middle. That way they don't ever get to it and see it. They get started, take some off the front, take some off the back, and never get to the good stuff. They run out of time.
his parents didn't turn him in. Actually, his parents they're not cooperating with police. They've just lied about these things when in reality, we know.
I hope not in Rage Patriot. I'm not going to speak for anybody else, but I do not plan on getting sidetracked until we get some pretty. Yeah, it probably is. It probably is, Brett. But I don't plan on getting sidetracked until we get some. Until we feel like we've gotten answers.
From endless documentation, they were involved in turning him in, and now it appears that they're ready to testify in the case.
Right.
And that is how we're able to reach conclusions about this case without a bullet.
Yeah, and Boomer, the main thing, I've said this before and I'll say it again. I think I said this on that stream with Allie. The main issue I have with it, besides just I don't believe that he's still alive, there's two issues. One is to realize that was actually the case. I would lose all respect for him, because between family and all the friends and even just supporters and people who loved him, to be able to do that to those people, to me, is just not very Christ-like and not a very Christian thing to do. That's one thing. But the other thing is if that is the case, that means, like Jesse said, that Erica and all the people around him are just really bad actors, and they're just not holding it together right. But with all of this shady stuff that we have found from Turning Point USA, stuff that I feel like Charlie was starting to realize was going on, hence to the Doge style effort. That completely 100% absolves everybody of anything. Yeah, automatically means everybody's innocent. Nobody did anything wrong, and we just have to assume that he's alive and that they're not guilty of anything, or that there's no reason to even look at them. And to me, I can't take that chance. I feel like there's enough shady stuff that has been coming out, and I think there was enough motive. I mean, look, that would also exonerate, the little country the size of New Jersey over there in the Middle East. I think they had something to do with it. Very good chance of it. Again, if he's actually still alive, then nobody did anything. And I feel like all of them really need to be dug into and looked at till we get some kind of answers. Till we get some answers and figure out what really happened. So I don't know. That's my main thing.
Match.
Yeah, and you can say the casings match, the DNAs match, the markings on the bullet casings match,
The text messages match.
yeah. I mean, there's a lot of other.
His location matches.
Yeah. Justin, final 30 seconds to you. What do you want people to take away from what we believe is a misleading headline from the Daily Mail?
Yeah, I want people to take away
So misleading. They said it didn't match, but yet the test to match was inconclusive, which means it did not, in fact, match it. I guess didn't match and did not match. Maybe those are two different things in their minds. I don't know.
the fact that, again, ballistic science is very inexact at best.
That's right, in Rage Patriot.
And you're dealing with a lot of people on the internet who have no knowledge of it whatsoever. And so it's very easy to, even in court cases,
Of which this guy's the chief.
it's very easy to confuse a jury. They discussed ammunition in the Kyle Rittenhouse trial.
There you go, Boomer. That's kind of what I'm thinking. She was there when BB called and offered the money. And what do you think that money was for? I don't know how much closely y'all been following Danks. I mean, I don't think he was just going to write him this huge check and just give it to him to put him to the next level. I'm sure there was going to be some type of transaction. And like I said, I don't know how close y'all been following Danks, but I would say there's a pretty good possibility all this stuff that Dank's been looking into, all this show faith by works and clock tower and all of this stuff, I would almost be willing to bet anything that that is what was offered. You do this for me, work with me on this, and you'll get pushed up to the next level. And what did Charlie do? Charlie turned it down. What did Erica do? I mean, the money's rolling in. So, yes, I have really have strong feelings about that. That yes, in fact, he made the offer. Charlie said, "No, I'm not doing it." I'm sure there was some type of communication with Erica, allegedly, and she said, "Don't worry about it. I'll do it." And, you know, she may not have even had to say the actual words. She may not have said, "Kill him," but she may have just said, "Hey, I'll do it for you." That's all it took.
And a lot of the information that they presented was false on both sides, actually. So this is not an exact science. This is not something that you can draw 100% conclusions about. This is but one piece of evidence among many. And I wish people would just take a breath and relax.
ATF and FBI are doing.
Well, I didn't mean for that to just play automatically, but there we go. All right, guys, here is that short. This is our grand finale. This is going to explain what I was saying a minute ago about the FBI doing its own independent testing now. It is not going to do any favors for the case, and it's definitely not going to do any favors for the FBI. This is going to cause problems. I can promise you that. But I'm going to let this former high-up FBI, former high-up FBI agent, boss, I'm going to let him explain it in his words.
ATF and FBI are doing parallel analyses. That to me is very strange, very strange. When I was still with the FBI, that was almost forbidden. It was forbidden. Either one does the analysis or the other does the analysis. It's either FBI or ATF, not both, because you can come up with conflicting results, and now you have a serious problem. Why ATF in the first place? The FBI took the lead on this investigation. Why have ATF do the analysis?
I mean, that's pretty valid. Yes, it's a Utah case, which I think is bullshit. I think it should have been an FBI case from start to finish, because if you follow and accept their narrative, it was a political assassination, which automatically puts that in the FBI or the federal government's jurisdiction. It wasn't just a random murder. It wasn't some type of domestic issue. So again, I feel like the FBI could have and probably should have been involved start to finish. That being said, at the beginning, though, the FBI was, helping out the state and was collecting evidence and such for them. Why would the FBI pass off this part of it to the ATF and not just do it themselves, especially if they have the ability to do the exact testing?
So now the FBI is doing its own analysis. And as I said, they're going to come up with potentially conflicting views that they're going to match.
Hell, what happens if they do come up with conflicting views? Because you know as well as I do, that's the whole point. The ATF's test was no good. no conclusion, inconclusive, no match. I could be wrong. Hope I'm wrong. But I got a hunch. The FBI, it's not going to be inconclusive. They're going to find their match. It will match regardless. That's just the way I see it going. Maybe it won't. I guess we'll have to wait and see.
And ATF couldn't. I think it's going to be a mess, and I think it was bad decision making by the leadership involved. And I saw myself, there were many instances of egos and turf battles that would develop. And I actually had to mediate some of them at times.
You know, Boomer, if this is allowed to go on and this is allowed to be introduced in court as evidence, and especially if there is some type of conviction and it's based a lot on that test, to me that just confirms that the defense is in on it and that they're not actually there to defend him, because I feel like any defense lawyer that's worth their salt can go in there and absolutely rip them to shreds on that and probably keep it from even being admitted as evidence, because there is so much evidence that this test is not trustworthy, it's not accurate, and has actually convicted people that were innocent. So, like I said, if the defense is worth their salt, I have a feeling that this test, they're just wasting their time.
In my last leadership position between ATF and the FBI laboratory. So what I'm looking at here is the parallel testing model used to be frowned upon and almost forbidden. And now that's what they're doing.
Because what happens if you get two completely different, conclusions, conflicting conclusions, then what the hell are you supposed to do? Give it to a third party and see which way it goes then? I mean, it's retarded. It's stupid. And like I said, they're not doing themselves any favors. This is going to turn out badly, either way it goes. But I can promise you, the only reason they're doing this test is so that they can make it match.
So it'll be interesting to see if there are conflicting results. Because if the FBI also comes up not conclusive, it just bolsters the defenses.
Exactly. They just put it right in the defense's lap. They just gave the whole case to the defense. If the FBI comes back with the same conclusion, that's it. Prosecution might as well just go home. That'll be the last straw.
The case, if they come up with a match, then you have a case of, well, okay, who's right, who's wrong. It's a mess. So I think the leadership made some strategic errors right at the beginning.
Boy, that was really diplomatic. He was really polite about that. They made some strategic errors. What about that, guys? What do y'all think about that? That's a whole lot of cope and a whole lot of BS, a whole lot of propaganda, wasn't it? Like these people, I swear, everybody is a professional, I guess, in their own mind. But I wonder, I guarantee you, Andrew the whole time was thinking, oh God, what's Erica going to say? Oh God, what's Erica going to say? She's going to be so mad. Because he did them no favors at all. He went on there and he represented the defense from the time he started talking till the time he stopped talking. Sorry, guys, I'm just kind of reading along. Well, what do y'all were y'all impressed with all that stupidity as I was? And I know y'all guys, y'all probably would have never even watched this because y'all are probably like me and don't have any interest in listening to the BS. But you know, there's a lot of people out there still that do. Not nearly as many people as used to, but there are still a lot of people out there that watch it. And you know, hopefully by playing these and pointing out the errors and the fallacies and the lies and all that, maybe we can help point somebody in the right direction and get them back on Team Truth or keep them on Team Truth. Because look, to people that have not been paying attention or not following, I'm sure these conversations like this could be pretty convincing. So, you know, I don't know. And Brett, yes, I think you're correct if everything plays out. I'm still really worried though. Either A, they get him to plea out, which means again, no trial. We see none of the evidence. It all goes away. Or he gets Epstein. And if that happens, same result. No trial. All the evidence goes away. And it's like it never happened. That's what I'm worried about will happen. Or that's what I'm worried will happen. So I have a feeling if he ends up going to trial and everything plays out, yes, I have a strong feeling that he will walk. I'm just worried about what's going to happen in the meantime. So, I mean, if y'all sound like y'all watch Lionel pretty hard and heavy. I mean, that I think it was yesterday, one of the live streams he did yesterday, but he was talking about how that boy needs protection and he needs it ASAP because there's just too many. There are too many people that will we'll just say will have a really bad day if he goes to trial. So makes a lot of problems go away if somebody walks in and he's hanging from a strip of bed sheet, you know. Hopefully that doesn't happen. I mean, even if he did do it, I still don't want that to happen. Even if he was guilty, I want him to go stand trial, and I want to see this evidence that they're saying. That I want to climb this mountain with them. So, how do you know I'm any good at it, Mermaid? I know you mentioned that before. I'll say what I can come up with. I say we'll put something together. Yeah, I can make something happen. Yeah, I don't know, Enraged Patriot. Yeah, they probably do. I don't know. Like I said, better say a prayer for him. I hope he makes it to the. Hope he makes it to trial, and I hope he doesn't plea out. So, like I said, if he does, that's not going to be any good for anybody. That's not going to help anybody's confidence in the system, the FBI, the local state government. That's just not going to help anybody, other than, you know, maybe the prosecution. Keep people from pointing their finger at them and like, what the hell are you thinking? And that would keep them from having the public up their ass to go out and open up new investigations, look for new, suspects and stuff. Because if he gets acquitted, with something this big and as much public interest as there is in this, that if he gets acquitted, that the pressure is going to be on for them to reopen the investigation and start looking elsewhere. So, yeah, him waking up dead is would be really good for a lot of people. So, All right, guys. It's it's almost midnight. I didn't expect to be on this long. I thought I could make that quicker than I can. Man, I just got so. If I wasn't so opinionated, it didn't yap so much. I guess I should have let it play longer, do less talking. Guys, I really appreciate y'all showing up and hanging out in the chat. Y'all are awesome. I really enjoy seeing everybody in there. It's great whenever it's Enraged Patriot. It's always great when I hit the go live button and there's already several of y'all in there waiting on me. That's just it's great. So yes, again, anybody happens to be lurking in the chat that is not subscribed, please do that. Please, everybody, hit the like button. Mermaid usually, I think it's Mermaid usually reminds everybody, but I'm gonna do the reminder too. So that share comments after the fact, that'll all help a lot. And again, I'm just gonna throw that out there. I have a post up on YouTube, and I have 3 links. In the meantime, until I get monetized, I have a Venmo, Cash App, and a PayPal. If anybody feels, if anybody has it on their heart to donate to a worthy cause, if anybody can and would, just even a few dollars, it all adds up. But that would be much appreciated if y'all could do that. If not, hey, I mean, I'm just glad y'all are here. But we'll be monetized soon, and then it'll make things a lot easier. But yeah, still not there yet. So yeah, everything's coming out of pocket for right now. So hey, guys, thank y'all for showing up again. I will see y'all. Try to see y'all back here tomorrow night. Y'all just keep y'all's eyes open. Keep an eye out for that thumbnail and that notification to pop up. And if at all possible, Lord willing, and the creek don't rise, I'll see y'all here about the same time tomorrow night. All right, guys. Good night.